Hello, in this class of GSM signaling, we will be studying about various signaling types. So, signaling is basically control signals. So, control signals are required for processing. So, that's why we have various signaling types, and this signaling type is divided into two categories. First one is CAS and another one is CCS. Where CAS is channel associated signaling, whereas double CS is common channel signaling. So processing of control signals is also divided into two categories. The very first one is channel associated signaling and this one is common channel signaling. So first let's understand channel associated signaling, that means CAS signaling. So in channel associated signaling, this signaling is also known as in-band signaling. Why it is known as in-band signaling? Because signaling is transmitted in same frequency as voice. So we have control signals and those control signals are traveling within the same frequency range as the frequency which is used by voice. Now, first of all, voice path like required to be established, but this path will establish only when signaling is completed or our signaling setup is completed. Then we have voice path established. That means in order to establish voice path, we require to wait so that my signaling will be completed. So this type of signaling process is known as in-band signaling or channel associated signaling. Like this one A, which is my switch A, and I have another switch which is B switch. So this one is switch B. So between two switches I have a channel and this channel is carrying both user data and signaling. So that means that in a same channel we are sending the signaling bits as well as the user voice bits. And this one is my link between two entities. The same channel for voice bits as well as for signaling bits between two ends. So that's why known as in band, because it is using the same band. Same band, or I can say the same frequency for transmission of both signaling as well as data. So this type of signaling is known as channel associated signaling. Now let's move to the next type of signaling, which is CCS, that means common channel signaling. Common channel signaling. Now in this case, if I have switch A, so this one is my switch A and this one as B, which is my switch B. Both the switch A and B. So I have So these, that means the bold lines will be my voice trunks, that means my voice channels, and this one is my signaling link. Now I have separate out the voice path as well as the signaling link. Both are having different path and they will run simultaneously. Now this type of signaling is known as out of band signaling. Why this is known as out of band signaling? Because both voice trunks as well as the signaling trunks are working on a different frequencies. Now they have separate path for signaling, and this separate path of signaling, it means that these are my control signals. Now these voice trunks are used only when my signaling is completed. I have a different voice trunks, but these are used, that means voice channels will be used only when first I require signaling is a priority. So I want that first my signaling will be completed, then we can use my voice trunks. So if I make it as between switch A and switch B, if this is my switch A and this one is my switch B, now I have separate path. So like this one and this. So this separate path will be for signaling and another path which will be for data, or I can say voice. So this is known as common channel signaling. Now why it is named as common channel? Because signaling channel are being shared by a number of voice trunks. That's why its name is common channel signaling. Now what are the advantages of CCS over CAS? Or why we require to use common channel signaling? Why we don't want to use channel associated signaling? So advantages of CCS over CAS. So the very first advantage of CCS over CAS is faster call setup, which we require in our system, that my call setup will be faster and faster. So if I am using common channel signaling, so this signaling is having a faster call setup. Now in this we have no interference. Whenever I am using common channel signaling, I don't have any interference between frequency of human speech and signaling. Next one is greater efficiency. Efficiency of this system is more as compared to channel associated transfer. Now we have information transfer faster, or so these are all the advantages of CCS over CAS. So that's why we are using common channel signaling in our system. Now for signaling, we have common channel signaling. Okay, we will use the type which is common channel signaling, and the signaling system which we are using in GSM is SS7. It is basically a name given to signaling systems. So this one is named as signaling system number 7. So we are using SS7 part with MSC end, so that my MSC can communicate with its databases and managing all the signaling part in its network. So what about the history of SS7? This being developed by a committee, and the committee name is at CCITT, that means double CITT, which is known as Communication Committee. Communication Committee of Inform which is known as Communication Committee for Information of sorry, transfer not, it is telephony and telegraphy. So this is basically a committee, CCITT, which is Communication Committee of Telephony, Telephone Services and Telegraphy Services, which are also linked to this. Now previous to that, that means previous to SS7, we have also SS6. That means Signaling System Number Switch 6. So what is there in Signaling System Number 6? So we have this packet switch data network. This is totally packet switch network and it is offering speed of 2.4 kbps. With 2.4 kbps speed to send data. Now advancement to this, that means advancement to SS6, we require SS7 in a system, and this SS7 is developed in year 1983. So this SS7 is developed in year 1983, which now is a global set standard. This one is become a global standard and global standard for call setup, routing and database access. So where is SS7 is used? SS7 is used in call setup, SS7 is used in routing purpose, and SS7 is used for database access. So why we require signal in our system? We require signal in our system so that we can have call setup, we can have call routing from one end to another end. So and also we require database access, that means by MSC access the HLR, MSC will access the VLR. So for all these things we require a system, and that system which is controlling all the signaling messages for call setup, routing and database access, that system is known as Signaling System Number 7, which is a global standard developed in 1983, and now also we are using SS7 part in our MSC so that my signaling, that means transfer of my control signal, will be processed. Now what is the principle of SS7? So topic is SS7 principle. Each and every system should require some principle on which it works. So like this we have principle of signaling system number 7. Now first is that this SS7 is out of band signaling. And if it is out of band signaling, so that means SS7 is CCS method, common channel signaling method. Now next is that it has higher signaling data rates. It offers, SS7 offers higher signaling data rates. And how much higher signaling data rates? This higher signaling data we have 64 kbps. As compared to previous SS6, we have increased the data rate to 64 kbps. Now, third is that we have signaling traffic bursty. We have a bursty signaling traffic and of short duration. The data rate is very less and it is of short duration so that it can flow with high speed. Another one, it is totally connectionless mode. As it is a connectionless mode, that means that it is packet switching. It works on packet switching. So connectionless packet switching. Next, signaling units are of variable length. The messages signaling are of variable length. Some are short, long, or minimum. Now we have next is optimum use of bandwidth. So as we are having optimum use of bandwidth, which means that we are using bandwidth more effectively, which is required in our system. And next one is reliability and flexibility. So these are all the various positive steps of SS7 which is used, and that's why it is most commonly used and a global standard. Because first principle, that it is totally out of band signaling. That means different frequency for voice trunks and are signaling. Then we have higher signaling data rate. Higher signaling data rate up to 64 kbps. After that, we have traffic burst of short duration. It is not consuming more time to transfer because the duration of this is very short. Totally connectionless mode, so packet switching. The signaling units, that means the message units with which my messages are flowing, are of variable length. So, and optimum use of bandwidth. It is using bandwidth very less or minimum. Reliable system and totally flexible system can be used in any systems. So this is my signaling system number 7 principle. Now we require to establish a full architecture of SS7. Then we require to establish link between, say, we require to give one codes, and after that we will have a fully running SS7 system. Now SS7 is using various protocols also to run its system. So that means this become a complete architecture. Till now we have studied that how to route traffic, BTS, VSC, but for signaling also, that means for controlling and protocol also, we have a fully established architecture, and that architecture is signaling system number 7 architecture with its proper links and its codes. That we will discuss in our next class. Till now, thank you so much.